Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today we're headed out on the water. We've got beautiful conditions today. I think it'll be a lot of fun to go out and do some early spring bass fishing. Let's go. So here's the deal. It is freezing cold this morning, way colder than they forecasted. But it is supposed to warm up quickly. So right now, the deck of the boat, I mean, it's frozen. That'll be interesting in the morning. I don't think the fish are going to like that. I think they're probably going to have backed out. They'll probably be out on those first transitions where they got access to deeper water. I would imagine the bait fish have done the same, but we'll see. I have no idea, but it is supposed to get really warm today. And when that happens, I would think that these fish would push right back up shallow. That's what I'm hoping. So I started tying on just based on the conditions, everything from A-rigs to a spoon, a jerkbait, strolling bait, an underspin, you name it. If I feel like the fish have gone up, if we move up and they are up there, we'll add in, you know, a square bill, a chatterbait, some of those other things. But let's start out a little bit, see if we can find some bait fish, maybe find some bass. Here we go. Something just boiled out there. See, I think these fish, I think they're active. I think they want to be up. It's just so cold this morning that I wouldn't think they'd be up there. This has got to have, I haven't been on this lake in over a year, but this has got to have crashed the water temperatures, I would think. We'll find out pretty quick. I just started out with our tactical mini underspin. We've got to start somewhere, right? That's a bait that I've got a lot of confidence in this time of year. It's got a lot of drawing power. I've got a 3.5-inch swammer on there. That'll pull fish, but when they're shut down, it'll catch them too. So I think that's a good starting point. There's one. Oh, that's a nice fish too. Beautiful. That's how we start the day right there. Nice. Look at that underspin in there. Just choked it. Beautiful fish. Awesome. Ooh, that was at the boat. That was awesome. This is on the 5-inch stroll shad. So what we've got is this bank up here is pretty shallow. Call it like 2 to 6, 2 to 8 foot. And then as it comes out, it rolls into a creek channel. And right where it rolls off is where I would expect, it's where I would expect any bass that were up there to kind of pull back to if it got cold. Look at that. That's awesome. So I would expect those fish to come out and then sit right on that roll off. And that's what I'm attempting to do, is just sort of follow that edge and just cast. And it seems to be working. Something just blew up back over here. Fire one back there, but that's all I'm doing. Nothing special, nothing technical, just trying to run into some fish. And then again, I'm hoping this afternoon that they slide back up shallow, because that is a lot of fun. I love fishing targets, you know, throwing at wood or brush or anything else, anything up shallow that I can see with my eyes. I enjoy that style of fishing. So if we get to do that, awesome. But if we don't, I mean, we're already catching some nice fish today. It definitely feels like we had a morning bite window. I've gone now probably an hour and a half without a bite. And this morning we didn't get tons of bites. We caught those two, one on the underspin, one strolling, and I missed two on the A-rig. That was it. It wasn't like it was wide open. But after that, it's just shut down. I was seeing surface activity at first light. That all seems to be gone now. So what I'm thinking now is I'm going to downsize. I actually already went shallow. I threw a square bill for 200 or 300 yards in brush, and I just didn't feel like the fish were up there. So I backed back out. And that one we caught earlier on the underspin, this is a 3.5 swammer. I'm gonna go down to the 2.75 swammer now, just because I feel like things are shut down. This is one of the things that I love about our little mini underspin, is the ability to just change that swim bait size and completely change the whole look and feel of the underspin. Because the mini, you know, Tim and I partnered with Dirty Jigs. We built two different versions of underspin. We have the mini and then we have the standard, or the underspin series. The mini, there's 4 sizes from 1/8 to 3/8, but they all have the same 1/0 heavy wire hook in them. So I can change swim baits and totally change the look and feel, but I'm able to still throw this on very light lines, stay very finessey. And then if I want to be upsizing, I throw our standard underspin. That's this guy over here. When I throw that standard underspin, as you go up in size, you also go up in hook size. So it just depends what my goal is on a given day. And given how tough it's been so far, I'm starting to get the vibe it's gonna be finessey, so we're downsizing. We'll find out. After throwing the small one for a while, nothing came of it. And then this wind started blowing. So I put on the bigger one, came over to this windy bank. That was the first cast. There's one. That thing caught me by surprise. I was using my electronics to look out here on the end of this point. All of a sudden that jerkbait took off. This wind has really made things tough. I'll just be honest, I did not check the wind forecast today. I had no idea it was coming, and it is blowing hard. We're actually in a little bit of a lull in the wind right now. It was even more intense. This jerkbait is a great option on those windy banks. I've only made a few casts with it. There we go, it's almost out. Sorry, buddy. That's that Zumverno. If I can get it out of my shirt. That's that Shimano Zumverno 115. These fish, once this wind really started blowing, the fish seemed to have backed out. I would have thought it would drive them up, but Maybe it was the cold morning, I don't know. It was supposed to really warm up today, but with the wind, you can't tell that it's warmed up at all. It's chilly. I mean, I'm wearing a hoodie with a down jacket over the top and my bibs in the middle of the day. The fish seem to have backed out to like 8 to 12 foot. So I thought that deeper diving jerkbait would be a good option, and it seems to be. Today is such a shining example of how easy it is to blow it this time of year. Not that we haven't caught fish, we're catching fish, but I came out with some preconceived notions, and that's a very dangerous thing. So this morning, we were catching fish out there on those outer edges where it was rolling off into creek channels or breaking off, and it was working, and we caught some really nice fish. But I had it in my head, based on the forecast, that it would be warm enough this afternoon for fish to push shallow. And I pushed that for hours. And then I ended up catching that one nice one on an underspin up in, that fish was probably in 3.5 to 4 foot of water. And because I wanted that pattern to work, I took that as a sure sign, and I wasted hours. It wasn't until I came back out deep, went right back to those breaks, started fishing slower, throwing the jerkbait, that we caught another fish. You've got to roll with the punches this time of year. We're looking for that wide open bite, right? We're looking for a group of fish that is aggressive, that's feeding, and we can just smash them. So I keep moving, but all the signs today from first thing in the morning on pointed to fish at like that 8 to 12 foot range. And now here we are in the afternoon, I'm looking at my electronics, and it's like the 10-foot line on this lake, like clockwork. The bass are just sitting at about 10 foot for whatever reason. So unfortunately, I lost a lot of my day shallow, but hopefully we can back out just a little bit further and catch some more nice fish before it's over. Well, there's what they're eating. Gives us a good size reference too. There's one on the A-rig. And he's got 2 hooks in his mouth. He choked it. I have thrown an A-rig off and on all day today, and they just were not having it. And that one just comes out of nowhere and gets it. Oh, that's gonna stick with me right there. Not our biggest fish of the day by any means, but he came on the micro rig. And here's the thing. All day today, I had a feeling that it was finessey, right? I said that earlier. It's just, it has that finessey vibe. All day I thought if I had a micro rig, I would have smashed them. And I've got 2 boxes of rigs in this boat. I've got all of our 3 hook rigs and our 5 hook rigs with me, except my micros. I accidentally left them at home. Here I am. It's almost time to get off the water. I'm digging around in the bottom of the boat, and I found a tube with 1 micro in it. 5 minutes later, fish in the boat. Brutal. I think we could have cracked them today on that little guy. All right, guys, it's time to wrap this one up. Today was a lot of fun, although there was definitely a learning curve to it. I zigged when I should have zagged, and that cost me a lot of my day, but hopefully you guys can learn from that as well, because it's easy to come in with those preconceived notions and head down that path, and time is just passing, right? It goes quickly, and it's not until you step back, really look at your puzzle pieces from that day, and you put a good pattern together. It was amazing the way those fish were sitting right on those outside edges all day long today. I mean, the underspin and the A-rig were definitely the stars of the show. You could have guessed when I threw a 5-hook A-rig that I am not in Tennessee today. I'm out on the road traveling. Headed home though. I will be home tomorrow. But just a really good time today. You know, these fish were definitely geared towards bait fish. They were definitely chasing shad around, and I would find them on those outer edges, and it was really hard to get a bite. But if bait fish was present, if the shad were there, it was, you know, those fish would start eating. It was obvious that they were very shad driven today. It was not a wide open bite by any means. We had to work for every bite that we got, but it was really fun dialing it in. You know, got a clue when you start snagging shad, you've got a clue what's going on, and every bait that they ate was a perfect shad imitator, every single one of them. And I did partway through the day slow down, do some flipping, fished a bunch of shallow wood, and I mean, that was just not what those fish were keyed on. They were definitely on the outside chasing their food, which happens a lot this time of year. The A-rig, the underspin, strolling, of course, a jerkbait. Those are all fantastic ways to target bass when they're doing that. I'll link everything that I threw today in the video description, along with the rods that I was throwing them on. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.